Hi, so welcome everyone to our last week من الانيشيتيف of coaching in Lebanon اللي صارت coaches in love during the pandemic. Apparently everything is going back to normal, yet في اشياء كتير بدنا نتعود عليها as a new normal. و definitely our mental health, the way we think, our wellness is something that will not be the same. ما حقول never be the same, but in the near future, we have to adapt to many things. So I'm happy today to host ماري كريستين نوفل. بتحبي أقول ماري كريستين نوفل رعد حتى ما
Ça va.
So I'm happy to have her. Mary Christine is a coach in training مع Pragmadom. She's doing actually life coaching now. أساسا كانت an engineer بالagriculture بس تخصصت بالفود ساينس اند تكنولوجي. اشتغلت بلابوراتوار بس حسيت انه she doesn't belong there لانه she loves to be in contact with the human. عملت الشفت القوية اللي فيها أكتر شيء هيومن ب NGO work، بس اشتغلت بالagriculture development كمان ل4 سنين. اشتغلت مع الفارمرز والناس اللي بيشتغلوا بالفود بروسيسنج. during ال NGO work بلشت تشتغل على her training skills ولاحظت قد ايه she loves connecting with people وتشوف انه to grow و definitely وين أكتر شيء we help people grow in every aspect in coaching. So Marie Christine decided انه تنقل her career path لللايف coaching وهلا مثل ما قلت she's مع Pragmadams exploring this new passion. بلشت her online platform اللي اسمه Mindset Bloom. كتير حبيت أنا التاج لاين تبعها اللي بتقول to help people cultivate their inner garden. ماري كريستين we're so happy to have you. قبل ما تبلش your presentation بحب أعرف مزبوط شو يعني cultivate your inner garden.
So, first of all, thank you so much, Nada, for the beautiful introduction. Cultivate your inner garden for me is so أنا كلمة bloom بالنسبة إلي هي it's a process, it's something continuous, and كمان it's related to my first career اللي هي بالagricultural engineering. So this مثل ما we cultivate outdoors garden, we have an inner garden يلي معمول من كتير قصص, the aspect of the wheel of life, our personality, our values, our passion. So what I like about it is it's something continuous, like the blooming process. It's a continuous process. So حبيت كتير هيدا الاسبكت من ال development.
It's a very nice tagline. Honestly, I really liked it. So,
Thank you.
Christine, كمان Zoom is yours today. Let's see what you have for us.
Thank you. So I'm going to start by sharing a bit why I decided to discuss about wellness today. So it's wellness is a topic that's very interesting and very important for me personally because I struggled with it since childhood. I had a very negative relationship with my body and with wellness in general. And I did many extreme things, but at some point I realized that this is not working and there must be something else. So I started researching more about wellness. I came across intuitive eating, which was already discussed in a previous webinar. It felt very aligned with who I am. And I also was very interested in the mindset behind wellness. So this is what I'm going to discuss today. I'm going to start sharing my screen. So today I'm going to focus on the mindset behind wellness, the mindset, mostly the mindset blocks that are hindering us to reach our wellness goals. So first of all, I would like to know from you, what's wellness for you? If you'd like to share in the comment box.
Okay, so please in the chat box, how do you define? Yani, what's wellness for you? If anyone likes to answer. So healthy lifestyle, feeling good in one's skin and mind, being happy by being healthy. Yeah, those are the answers.
Okay. So each one of us has his own definition of wellness. And as we know in coaching that there's no one size fits all. So I didn't want to put a definition of wellness because honestly, when I search about a definition, I found many definitions. But instead, what I found interesting is this quote: wellness has always been about true health, well-being, and that includes mental health, peace and calm, and very much includes finding what works for you. And as you know, in coaching, in anything, we need to find what works for the person because there is no one rule that can be applied to everyone. So I hope that today in this webinar, I can help you find what works for you or the beginning of what works for you to start taking it from there. I will be putting some questions to think about. So if you'd like to have a notebook and a pen with you, it might be useful. And I want to note that this webinar is based on the work of Robin Conley Downs. She's the founder of a wellness platform called Real Food Whole Life. And Rebecca Scritchfield, she's the author of a book called Body Kindness. So I'm going to start by a philosophy behind wellness. So wellness has many components. It's the combination of many things, the combinations of what we do in terms of food, in terms of moving our bodies, in terms of sleep, even in terms of mind, meditating or breathing or taking some time for our mind. It also includes how we feel. Our feelings are very much connected to our well-being, who we are, our values, and what defines us, and where we belong, our community, our close connections. All these play a role in wellness. So wellness is not one thing, it's not one fixed thing. It's a combination of many components. So I would like you to think about a wellness goal you'd like to reach, let's say within 3 months. And if you want to write it down, to continue the presentation. No need to share it in the comment box, it's for you.
So it's for you, unless you want to share with us.
Yes.
It's for you.
I suggested 3 months because it's at the same time not a very long period and not a very short one, but feel free to adjust the period of time. What I'm going to discuss next will be the mindset blocks we usually tend to face when we decide to have a wellness goal and to work on it. There is 3 mindset blocks I'm going to discuss today, which are perfectionism, all or nothing thinking, and comparison. I'm going to start with the perfectionism. It's the impossible standard. It's expecting your life to be a perfect way towards your goal. And when things don't go right, you don't have a backup plan. So a few examples of thoughts a perfectionist might have in his wellness aspect might be, I need to have the perfect body to be healthy. Or I need to always run at a certain pace to be considered as a runner. Or if someone like yoga, I want to be a yogi, one of the mindset block might be, I need to be young, I need to be thin, flexible, and able to do a handstand. Or if someone wants to work on his mind, the perfectionists tend to go a bit to see things much bigger. Instead of thinking about start somewhere, he directly think about meditation retreat. Or he have an ideal wellness schedule that never takes into consideration the real life things. For example, if he got sick, or if it's a mother and his kids had some unexpected things. So usually the person who's in the perfectionist mindset tend to put some goals that or some thoughts that are kind of very high standards. The second mindset block I'm going to discuss is the all or nothing thinking. When you often see things in black and white, good or bad, it's called dichotomous thinking. Usually this person is not even aware that there might be another option. For example, this person might think that if he doesn't have a full hour to exercise, he doesn't exercise at all. Or if he plans to eat well and miss a day, one day become a month, become a year sometimes. If he skips a day of exercise, he might consider the week or the month gone bad. The person who has this all or nothing thinking keep repeating to himself the idea of he's either on track or off track. It can be also as simple as thinking that if he didn't sweat during a workout, the workout doesn't count. And the third mindset block is the comparison. The comparison is comparing yourself, your goals, your results to other people. It can be people you know, or it can be also people on social media, or even it can be your past self. It's often associated with a fear of missing out on things. So for example, we saw this a lot in quarantine time. People online comparing them one another who has a better self-isolation schedule, or who was able to pursue their the same workout routine like before quarantine. We saw a lot of this competition during quarantine. For example, this person who has a comparison mindset might also think that if he wants to start meditating and his friend meditates daily, he must do it too. Or, for example, my neighbor felt a lot better when she stopped dairy. I'm sure if I do it, I'll reach my goals. And also, it can be comparing himself or herself to the previous self. So I used to fit in this jeans, for example, before I got pregnant, and beating yourself up. Or I used to run 10 kilometers in an hour. Now I can barely do 7 kilometers in an hour. So these mindset blocks are not good or bad as they are, but they are often hindering us towards our goal. It can be hindering us to when we are putting some actions that doesn't fit us, or it can be also some in the framing of the goal they might affect. I would like to know from you which mindset block affects you the most in your life. It can be in the wellness goal you put now, or in another wellness goal you had in your previous time.
So can we have the three?
Yes, it could be a combination of the three. It could be two. Usually there is one more dominant than the other, but it could be the three.
Mm-hmm. So we have from Layal perfectionism. Karine is saying the third one. Overthinking, Razan. For me, it used to be all or nothing. I've been all of them. Yes, I have all of them, but I think, yes, Yasmin is saying, I need everything to be perfect or else I won't do it. Adel is saying overthinking and perfectionism. Myself, perfectionism in the past, yes. I used to have as well all or nothing in the past. I still suffer from perfectionism a bit. I think for me, I have slightly the three of them, but manageable right now.
Yes.
Does anyone have them manageable as well? Okay, Marie-Christine, you were saying?
Yes, I was saying the three of us can be present in different levels depending on the period of our life. It can be sometimes, for me now, it's more about the perfectionism. Before it used to be the all or nothing thinking. It could change, and it's important to be aware of this because there are tools to change or to improve. I'm going to talk now. Is there anything else in the comments?
Maisa is saying she still has perfectionism, but it's much better than before. I think as well that in those kind of dark moments, this is where our deepest fears, our deepest barriers show up again, and I think that's so. Let's listen to you. What do you have to share, and we'll see if Maisa has worked on any of the tools.
Okay, so let's flip the script on these mindset blocks. I'm gonna share a few tools for each of them, and I'm gonna also share some coaching questions that we can ask ourselves. And these questions we can use them with other people if we are coaching someone else. So for the perfectionism, one of the tools is to choose one thing at a time. So usually the person who have a perfectionism mindset might put a very big goal that includes, for example, working out, eating better, drinking water, sleeping, etc. I'm not saying that it cannot be done together, but for usually when he see the very big picture and he tends to be demotivated by the amount of work he needs to do. So one of the things we can start with is to choose one thing at a time. And when this one thing become a habit, he can start to add another one. And this way he can reach the full goal he wants to reach. Another thing we can advise the perfectionism to do is self-compassion and kindness towards himself. Self-compassion and kindness is often seen as weakness, but research are showing that it's helping people to reach better their goal because they are not beating themselves up each time they don't do. It's giving them motivation. So we can simply ask ourselves, how can I be kind with myself in this situation, taking into consideration everything that's happening. One thing also that the person who has a perfectionism mindset can do is to have a backup plan. So usually this person have, as I said, a very ideal schedule or ideal goal or ideal expectation. And sometimes things comes in the way. For example, someone in the family is tired or is sick, or we have many things in our life that can come across our goals. So if this person have already a backup plan prepared, he will not feel that he's not sticking to his plan. بالعكس, he will feel that he has already a backup plan that he can rely to when the situation or when the time are more stressful than usual. And I would like to say to each one of you, be gentle with yourself. Few coaching questions on for the perfectionism mindset. What the one thing that I want to start with to move forward in my wellness goal? How will I talk to a dear friend who's having the same struggles? Because the perfectionist tends to beat himself up a lot. But when we ask him, how will you say the same things you are saying to yourself to someone who's dear to you? Usually it clicks that he's beating himself up. The perfectionists sometimes procrastinate a lot because there is no perfect scenario at the beginning. So like, I need to have the perfect body to be healthy. So it keeps procrastinating. So we can also ask how procrastinating, because the perfect scenario is not there, how procrastinating is serving me. And what's the one thing I can do, what's the minimum I can do in order to still be satisfied? here I want to just note that we are not encouraging him to do less than he wants to do. We are just, if he finds a mindset, a block somewhere, it might be a way to just shift his thinking into a more constructive way of going forward into his goals. For the person who have an all or nothing thinking, usually he's not aware that there is a third option. So one of the questions we can ask, or we can ask ourselves if we have this thinking, or we can ask someone, what's a third or a fourth option I have? Here also something will click if this person is focused only on two options. He usually doesn't see the gray. He usually sees things in black and white. So it's very interesting because sometimes the third, the fourth, or even the 10th option might be a better option for him and more realistic in this period of time. And how can this new option help me move forward in my goal? Few tools for the all or nothing to focus on more days than not. It's called the 2 out of 3 rule. So as I said, this person usually, if he misses a day, for example, if he wants to meditate daily for his mind health, he might put a goal, I want to meditate daily. And if he misses a day, he tends to miss another day, and we usually think about it هيك خربانة or هيك مش ظابطة. So the 2 out of 3 rule reframe a bit this thinking, because he can think that, okay, if I miss a day, I'll come back for the next 2. If I miss a week, a whole week, I'll come back for the next 2. He has something to come back to when things are not going as he expects. Also, it's very important for the person who has an all or nothing thinking to realize that everything counts and to acknowledge small wins. For example, I gave an example in previously, if this person doesn't have a full hour of exercising, he tends to not exercise at all. What if he has 10 minutes, for example? He needs to think about the options he has and to acknowledge them and to celebrate these small wins, because these small wins, when you add them up for 2-3 months, they make a difference. I will give the example of the 10 minutes. So 10 minutes of doing something related to wellness. Usually we consider the person who has this, the all or nothing mindset can consider 10 minutes as not necessary or not worth it or doesn't count. But if this person adds the 10 minutes on a 3 months or on a 2 months, he can see that the difference between 10 minutes and 0 minutes is actually huge. And also I want to say, be gentle with yourself. For the third mindset block, the comparison mindset, one of the tools is to focus on your strength at the moment. If you are comparing yourself to your previous self 5 years ago, it will not serve you, because you have strength now that you didn't have previously, and you can use them. So we also suggest to start a wellness gratitude practice. So this person usually tends to see what works for others, what worked for him in the past, but he doesn't realize that there are things that works for him now in the present and that are making his journey unique. His wellness journey is unique. So it can be as simple as starting to be aware of one thing per day, for example, he did well and he's grateful for regarding his wellness goal. And also be gentle with yourself. So what wellness goal would I choose if I don't compare myself to other or to my previous self? This is a very important question for the person who compare himself to people or to himself. What are my strengths now and what are my obstacles now? It's very important to be aware of the current situation. I will give an example related to lockdown. In lockdown, everything changed. The person who compared themselves and start beating themselves up for not being able to do things they were able to do before the lockdown, it's interesting just to shift a bit the perspective on the strengths they have now. Maybe the strength now is I have more time, or I don't have a commute, or anything. And what are my obstacles now in order to be realistic? Because we don't want to think that everything is good and la vie en rose. We need to be aware of all these things in order to either reframe our goal or to reframe the actions we want to put in order to reach our goal. So I will wrap up with something I really liked in Body Kindness book. It's creating wellness goals that works. So make sure that your wellness goal is interesting for you. So it doesn't need to be interesting for your neighbor or for your friend or for your mother or for anyone. It needs to be interesting for you. Is aligned with your values. It's very important, if you know your values, to make sure that your wellness goal is something that is aligned with your values. Voila, it will not really, you will feel like a certain block somewhere. Is challenging enough to feel the progress, because we need to feel that we are doing something good. We need to feel the challenge, but at the same time to have this awareness in mind. And make sure that your wellness goal is not what Scritchfield call a dead person goal. So what's a dead person goal? When we say to ourselves, I will never eat this type of thing. I will never eat after dinner. I will never eat sugar. Usually only a dead person, as in the Body Kindness book, they say only a dead person doesn't eat sugar anymore. So just it's a nice metaphor just to make sure that your goal is not an extreme one, and it's not a goal that is impossible to attain. So I would like to know from your side, what's one thing you will consider differently in your wellness journey?
All right, so after what we've heard, so what's something you will consider differently in your wellness journey? I'm going to check also the Facebook Live to see if anyone has something. We have people watching there as well. So what is one thing that you are going to consider? Layal is saying patience and self-compassion. Lara, I will be more gentle with myself. Juliana, the 10-minute steps. Yasmin is saying I'll be more gentle with myself. I'll be in the 10-minute steps as well. Karine, focus on what suits me and my body, not what a trend in the gym. Yes, I agree with you. Albin is saying ignoring what other people say. Yes. I would also say the comparison, which is really, you raised a very important point, which was what happened during the pandemic. And it's still there because people, it's like a marathon. Everyone is doing something and people are copying each other's. And really, I feel stress online more than I've been feeling the stress of the offline competition. So you're absolutely right about that. Layal is saying also becoming more aware whenever a mindset block pops up. Yes. And Albin is saying change our mindset. Amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Okay, most welcome. Thank you everyone for sharing. I would like to know.
I think even when I'm dead, I will need sugar. That's it. I like that metaphor, yes. Maisa is saying for perfectionism, usually what works for me is starting before I'm ready from what you mentioned. I think I would want to ask myself, what would be the minimum for me to feel satisfied? Thank you, Marie-Christine and Nada. Thank you, Maisa, for sharing. Interesting point.
Thank you. I would like to know if anyone has any question about what I shared.
Do you have any questions on how we are going to implement that? I think the coaching questions were really useful, and journaling is very important. Really, I've been working a lot on the gratitude journal, and it makes a lot of difference because we really tend to forget our achievements every day. So Lara is saying thank you, coach. Yasmin, thank you, Marie Christine. Albin, thank you. Amma is saying thank you. Juliana, nice webinar. Resetting our wellness. Yes, I agree. Layal, Adil is saying thanks a lot, Layal. Thanks, MC and Nada, for this insightful time. Thank you so much, everyone. Marie Christine, thank you. Thank you. If I
Thank you.
want to message, yes, let's be all compassionate with ourselves, be gentle with yourself, because at the end of the day, all what matters is our wellness, mental wellness, physical wellness, whatever you call it, it's our well-being. So thank you so much, Mary Christine. It was really amazing. Thank you,
Thank
everyone,
you.
for participation. Thank you.
Thank you, Nada, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mary Christine. Thank you. Thank you all, and see you on Friday. Bye.
Bye.